I don't even know what to say. Alright, we are back with another figure review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Dabi, aka... Just kidding, I censored out his name so then you wouldn't be able to tell because, you know, his real identity is a spoiler. It's not like everybody knows it by now. It's not like I got spoiled on it. Yeah. Anyway, though, I'm going to make this a very quick review so you know whether this guy is worth it or not. So first, look at the box here. I can indeed compliment this because this is gorgeous. I love this box style. The My Hero boxes have been fire so far. No pun intended. Here's the side of Dabi's box, super clean. Here's the back of it, nice pictures, very cool little photoshopped picture there. And then here is the last side of the box. But as always, who cares about this thing? Let's just get him out of there. And there is Dabi out of the box. And first impressions are this guy aesthetically looks incredible. I mean, look at this guy. All of the detail. I mean, it's kind of funny because he's mostly just white, but it's the detail in there that matters, such as all the rips in his clothing. The body detail is also incredible. His burn marks look really nice. The stitches up close here also look really good. He's got his like bicep braces. I don't know what those are. His belt looks nice. And then here's the back of him. Everything looks good there. And then when we move the skirt away, you can see his legs. They've of course got all their details. He's wearing his nice off-white boots so they don't match with the rest of his clothing. Very cool. And then just look up close at his face. I can say this for any recent SH Figuarts figure, but the faces have just been incredible. Look at the detail in there. It is crazy. And then the hair sculpt, of course, also looks great. Just overall, a fantastic looking figure. I'm honestly kind of struggling to think of like what else to talk about here because all things considered, he's a fairly simple figure. He's just kind of all white everywhere. So I guess we'll just move on to accessories then. First off, here's a look at the two extra faces that Dabi comes with. They're both pretty maniacal. I mean, this guy's kind of crazy. Then Dabi comes with 3 extra pairs of hands, 2 of which are pretty similar, but they have different purposes, I guess. One of them is more so for his little dance moment that he does. And then he comes with these beautiful effect pieces. First of all, you got the extra hands that have flames coming out of them, which looks super sick. And then you just have those 2 flames that can connect to his wrists. And man, these look so good. Please give us more effect parts like this. So overall, you don't need much more with a Dabi figure. I'd say he comes with just about as much as he needs. And you can definitely get him into some cool looking poses with these accessories, especially the effects. These things are really incredible. And now it's time for what I've been dreading, the articulation. Let's not start out too negative. Let's just see what Dabi has to offer and see if it's good enough. So first of all, we'll start with his head. It can look about that far down, which includes using the neck, which is not bad at all. So that is good. But then whenever you want to move it up, you can kind of get some range out of it, I guess. I mean, problem is this plastic back here, despite being soft, kind of pushes the head forward into its neutral position. So yeah, you're really not going to get much range out of that. But I guess it is serviceable. You know, maybe you don't need him doing too much crazy looking up stuff. But then you can move his head almost all around. It's mostly toward the front. It's mostly toward the front because that's, you know, where the plastic isn't at. All right, next, let's take a look at his arms. So first of all, he can raise his arms that high up, not bad. And then they can move all the way around. Butterfly joint, yeah, it doesn't really do too much. I don't even know if you can consider that a butterfly joint. I mean, it's really not doing much. And what's weird is you can actually see some of his skin tone in there. So, All right, but then he does have a bicep swivel. It's a little weird because this is like a loose hanging piece and then this is a single jointed elbow, so it kind of moves on its own. I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. But speaking of the single jointed elbow, you've got that here. It works decently. You know, you don't get a whole lot of range because of his design, which kind of sucks. I wish there was a way they could have gotten more range out of that, but I don't know. I guess this is what they had to go with, so you know, that's what you get. And then of course, like any other figure, he can move his wrist up and down and all around. Now this is going to be a scary part. Let's see this guy's ab crunch. Let's test it out. Oh, and he popped in half. Take 2. Let's see if he's got an ab crunch. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that an ab crunch? He kind of just looks like he's leaning forward a bit. I don't know. Maybe with this design, that's all you could get. Who knows? And then leaning back, really not much either. So, you know, it's kind of some sad torso movement. It can swivel around like that. The top doesn't move around too much because of the soft plastic over it, which is a shame. And now this is the actual worst part. Look at what we've got here. We have got a plastic skirt. Sculpt wise, looks pretty nice, I'd say. It makes him look like a very complete, good, well established, good looking fellow. I don't know. But it does not allow his legs to move. So let's see Dabi do the splits. So yes, he can do the splits. And as you can see, his legs, they can move. But here's my issue. Whenever you want to pose these things, you have to work around this skirt. So, you know, let's say I want his foot to be out here. I got to move the whole skirt aside and do it like that. But then what if I want this foot to do something where it goes all the way out? And it's like, well, it really can't anymore because now it's being covered by this. So overall, plastic skirts, bad idea. Cloth goods, better. And I'm sure there's going to be some people who say like cloth goods suck. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. People apparently just don't like soft goods, I guess. I love them, but I do understand sometimes they're not super necessary. However, I think for this release, I would have preferred a cloth skirt just so then he could like freely move his legs and it wouldn't be annoying to pose him while doing it. Anyway, let's get back to the legs themselves. So they can go up about that high. They can go that far back where the skirt is kind of covering everything. He's of course got a thigh swivel, so that's very nice. And then he's got a double jointed knee. Once again, the skirt's kind of trying to hide stuff, but there it is. And then he's got a boot swivel, which is very much appreciated. I feel like SH Figuarts doesn't do that all too much. And then finally, his ankle articulation is not bad at all. It can move from side to side, actually quite a bit, which is pretty impressive. And then of course, he's got a toe hinge. So overall, you're not going to be getting the craziest poses out of Dabi. It feels like his articulation is just kind of limited everywhere you go, which really sucks because I feel like he could get into some pretty cool poses if some design choices were just changed, you know? So I don't know. Overall, not terrible, but certainly not good. All right, it's time for some comparisons, and I thought it'd be great to start with Dabi's... Forgot, I'm not gonna say anything. But here he is next to Todoroki. They both look super cool together, and you can definitely recreate some cool scenes from the anime / manga with these figures. Next up, here he is by Deku. They look great together. I don't think these two really interacted that much in the anime, if really at all. I don't know, am I stupid? Do I remember wrong? Can anyone point that out? Can anyone find a scene where these two talk? Then here he is next to Bakugo. Once again, they look very cool together. For the last SHF My Hero character, here he is next to Ochako. And then finally, here he is next to the Games Begin Goku. Goku's almost as tall as him. I'm surprised. Goku's actually kind of short. Here he is next to the amazing Yamaguchi Endeavor. And wow, these guys look really cool together. You can definitely recreate a bunch of scenes from the manga with these two. And I still stand on the fact that Rebel Tech Endeavor is one of the best figures ever. And then finally, here he is next to the Rebel Tech Dabi. I think people are going to like the SHF more just because of the fact that he does look better. I mean, if you take a look at the Rebel Tech's face, yeah, he looks kind of kooky. You know, I know Yamaguchi's not known for their fantastic face sculpts, but I do think the Rebel Tech Dabi still holds up, and it is neat to have him in his other outfit. But overall, that's something I want to know from you guys. Which one of these two do you think is better? So yeah, overall, this guy is going to look great with your My Hero collection. Honestly, it'll look great with any other figure. In conclusion, I'm not sure about this figure. Dabi, while he does look fantastic, just does not move in ways that I wish he would move. So overall, I'm gonna have to give him a 6 out of 10. I just can't give him anything higher because unfortunately, I just did not have fun posing him. And guys, I'm gonna be honest, that's a huge part about what makes me like a figure is if they are fun to pose. Even if they can pose good, if it takes a billion little adjustments to get them in the right pose, that's not fun. I just want want it to be a pleasant experience, and Dabi is not a pleasant experience. So it sucks. I wish I didn't have to give him that low of a rating, but overall I still think he is a decent figure, and at the very least he could have some great shelf presence with the rest of your collection. So I do recommend getting him if you're collecting the My Hero line, but if you're not too interested or Dabi isn't one of your favorite characters, I'd say probably pass on this one. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for this review. I know it was a shorter one, so sorry about that, but next up I've got some really cool figures to review. I'm really excited for those, but that's gonna do it for this, so I'll see you all in the next video.